This program comprises unit number 9, Programming Language. After going through this unit, you will be able to understand the basic concepts of computer language, become familiar with the domain of high-level and low-level languages, differentiate between compiler, interpreter, and linker, have knowledge about different structured programming languages, have knowledge about object-oriented programming languages, know about web development languages, know about scripting languages. Programming language. A computer cannot perform any operations at its own. It requires some instructions to perform a task. The computer executes these instructions in a sequence and performs the required job. Now, the question is how to formulate the instructions that a computer can understand. The instructions are formulated according to a predefined format, and that format is based on the syntax and semantics of a programming language. A computer language is an artificial language used for writing instructions or programs. A programming language provides a way of giving instructions to the computer. It is used to communicate and give commands to a computer. Computer program. A program is a set of commands or instructions given to computer to perform a task. A program instructs the computer to perform the task and produce the required result. The computer executes these instructions and gives the desired output. A person who writes a program for computers is known as a software programmer. The process of writing sets of instructions in a computer is called programming. Types of programming languages. There is a large number of programming languages developed by different organizations, and each language has its own characteristics and scope. The computer languages are divided into two broad categories. These are low-level language, high-level language. Low-level language. Low-level language is a language directly understood by the computer. These languages are considered to be closer to computers. Programs and applications written in low-level language are directly executable on the computing hardware without any interpretation or translation. Therefore, low-level language programs run very quickly and use very small memory. There are two kinds of low-level languages. These are machine language, assembly language. Machine language. Machine language is the fundamental language of the computer. Originally, computer programs were written in machine language at earlier stages. Machine language statements are generally composed of a string of on, off, or zeros and ones, that is, binary numbers. Machine language instructions are composed of an operation code and an operand. Typical operation involves reading, writing, adding, subtracting, and so on. The operand represents the variables or items of data involved in this function. Advantages of machine-level language. It has fast execution. It requires no translator to decode the instructions. Disadvantages of machine-level language. These languages are machine-specific. A programmer has to know the details of computer hardware. It is difficult to find errors in a program-coded machine language. A programmer has to memorize large number of instructions to write a program. In case of any small mistake, an error may be raised in the program. A program becomes lengthy and creates difficulty for debugging. Assembly language. Assembly language was developed to overcome the drawbacks of the machine-level language. It was a remarkable improvement over machine language. Assembly language uses letters, words, and symbols instead of binary digits. Assembly language is a little bit easier than machine language. Since assembly language is also machine-dependent language, Assembly language syntax is called mnemonic code. Examples of mnemonics include add, which add up the data items, and move, which moves data from one location to another. This program is written in assembly language, is then converted into machine code by an assembler. The important elements of assembly language include label, OP code, and operand. Advantages of assembly language. The programs written in machine language are replaced by mnemonics, which are easier to remember. It is easy to make insertions and deletions in programs. It requires fewer instructions than machine to accomplish the same result. High-level language. High-level language, or HLL, is a type of computer language that uses English and mathematical symbols for its program construction. They are also considered as third generation. In an HLL, each statement is equivalent to a large number of assembly language commands or instructions that perform complex computing operations. The programs concentrate only on the logic of applications without considering the machine architecture. Advantages of high-level language. The high-level language is machine-independent and program-oriented. It is easy to learn and use. It requires less time and effort to write a program in an HLL. It provides better documentation of programs due to similarity with natural language. The debugging of programs is also easy in HLL. As a result, high-level languages are used more often than machine or assembly language. However, the programs written in high-level languages need to be translated into machine language during execution process. For this purpose, language translators and linkers are used for this purpose. Compiler, interpreter, and linker. Compiler. A compiler is a computer program that transforms source code into object code. The source code is the program written in a programming language, and object code is the executable form of the code, often in a binary format. A user writes a program in a high-level language and uses the specific compiler designed for that language to execute the program. The compiler scans the entire program first and identifies errors, if required, and then translates the whole program into machine code. The machine code is then executed by the processor. Interpreter. An interpreter is a computer program which translates a high-level computer program into its equivalent machine language code. It reads only one line of code at a time and converts it into binary language and then runs the code on the machine before translation of next line. Difference between compiler and interpreter. The interpreter takes one statement at a time, translates and executes it, and then takes another statement, while the compiler reads the entire program in one scan and then translates and executes it. Due to scanning, a program compiler takes a larger amount of time and interpreter scans line by line and so takes lesser time in the same process. Linker. A linker is a computer program that links one or more object files generated by a compiler and combines them into a single unit to execute the program. When a program comprises of more than one object files, the linker combines these files into a single unit executable program. Commonly used high-level languages. Procedure-oriented language. The disadvantages of machine and assembly language led to the development of procedural languages in the late 1950s and 1960s. These languages are also called third-generation languages. These languages consist of English-like statements that are used for the development of computer programs. Procedural language is based upon the concept of the procedure call. A procedure consists of series of steps executed by the computer system. A procedure can consist of routines, subroutines, methods, or functions. There are hundreds of procedural languages available for computer programming. However, only few of them are used widely in the market and are also recognized as standard programming languages. Fortran. The Fortran was developed by a team of professionals at IBM headed by John Backus and was first published in 1957. The name Fortran is an acronym for Formula Translation. It was developed for programming scientific and mathematical applications. Some of the significant features of the language are: the language is easy to learn, the programs are portable or machine independent, the complex mathematical equations can be written in simple, regular algebraic notations. It provides efficient execution of program. It allows to control the allocation of storage. It provides more autonomy in code layout as compared to low-level languages. COBOL. COBOL, or Common Business Oriented Language, was one of the older high-level languages. It was developed in 1959 by a group of computer expert consortium called Conference on Data System Languages, or CODASYL. It is a programming language designed for business applications. For over 4 decades, COBOL has been the dominant programming language for the development of business computing applications. COBOL contains such English-like instruction formats such as verbs, nouns, sentences, and sections. Some of the significant features of the language are: COBOL is suitable for programming business application. COBOL is a simple language. It encourages a simple programming style. File records and variables are defined in detail. The language is portable as its standard does not belong to any particular vendor. C language. The C language was designed and developed at AT&T Bell Labs in the early 1970s by Dennis Ritchie. It was initially designed for the Unix operating system, but it soon demonstrated itself a powerful general-purpose language. Near to low-level language, so it is used for system programmers. Moreover, compilers and interpreters for other languages such as Fortran, Pascal, and BASIC are also developed in C language. It is also used to develop complex business and commercial applications. Some of the significant features of the language are: C is a general-purpose programming language. It is an efficient and powerful programming language. It is independent of any particular machine architecture. The modularity allows breaking a large program into small, manageable pieces which can be reused in other programs. Object-Oriented Programming Languages, OOP. Object-Oriented Programming, or OOP, is a programming domain which uses real-world entities and objects to design applications and computer programs. The objects are the instances of a class which provides a template for defining the objects. Each object can receive messages, process data, and send messages to other objects. Object-oriented programming encourages a programmer to decompose a problem into related subgroups. Each subgroup becomes a self-contained object that includes its own code and data that relates to that object. In this way, complexity is reduced and the programmers can manage large programs. All OOP languages share 3 common traits, that is, encapsulation, polymorphism, and inheritance. There are varieties of languages available that support object-oriented programming. Let's look at a few important ones. Java. Java is an object-oriented programming language initiated by James Gosling and released in 1995 by Sun Microsoft Systems. Computer programs developed in the Java programming language can run on any hardware and operating system platform. The Java code is compiled to an intermediate representation called Java bytecode. Later, this code is interpreted for execution by an interpreter called Java Virtual Machine. Some of the significant features of the language are: Java language has both compiler and interpreter. It is platform independent. The code of Java is robust as it first checks the reliability of the code before execution. It has built-in capabilities to ensure that violations of security do not occur. Java is a distributed language because it supports network programming. It is capable to employ multi-threading techniques for program execution. C++. The C++ programming language is an extension of the C language with some additional features. It was developed by John Strostrup in the early 1980s at Bell Laboratories. C++ is an object-oriented program language but comprises of all the features of C language. C++ is one of the most popular programming languages and is used on different varieties of hardware platforms and operating systems. It covers a vast area of application development including application software, systems software, hardware device drivers, embedded software, client and server applications, and entertainment software such like video games. Some of the more significant features of the language are: C++ is an elegant language. Users can program procedural and object-oriented style or both. C++ has a wide range of compilers that run on many different platforms and machines. It has a large function library. It is suitable for development of reusable modules, thus reduces cost of software development. It provides fast execution of source code. 4GLs. Fourth Generation Programming Language or 4GL, 1970s to 1990, is a class of non-procedural, high-level programming language. It allows the users to specify what data to retrieve, delete, or insert rather than how to perform the operation. It is intended to maximize the user effort and decrease the development time and cost of application. Fourth generation language includes the following: database query language. Database query language is used to manipulate the database applications. It allows formation of queries that process several records from one or more database tables. Structured query language or SQL is most important example of database query language. Report generator. Report generator allows extracting data from a database and presenting it in the form of a formatted report. It also allows applying arithmetic and logical operations on the desired data. Visual language is event-driven processing. Visual language has replaced text-based instruction with symbolic icons. An event can be a mouse click, a button press, a drop-down menu selection, or an internal action for Windows activity. Visual Basic and Visual C are the example of visual language. While writing program in any visual language, the programmer does not write the code of the program in some specific order, as in the case of text-based programming. Similarly, users also do not follow the order. That is, the user might want to choose from a pull-down menu, click a mouse button or key, and might do these tasks in virtually any order. Visual programming is more complex than programming for textual application, but execution of visual program is highly user-friendly. Some authors refer to visual programming languages as fifth-generation languages. Web page development. The term web development refers to different activities related to the development of a website for the Internet. The web development activities include web designing, web content development, and client and server-side coding. Web development can range from simple to complex websites including simple text-based static page to more complex web-based applications including e-business, e-learning, and social networking application. A variety of techniques are available in order to develop web pages. These techniques make use of programming languages discussed previously and some special hypertext and scripting languages. Hypertext Markup Language or HTML. HTML is a special tag-based language used to develop web pages. HTML allows users to publish variety of documents on the internet in a platform-independent way, creates links within the same documents, and includes graphics and multimedia within the web page document. HTML is written in the form of HTML elements and has specified attributes that apply on word, text, or paragraph. The elements are written with the start and end tag with the content in between. Users can write HTML code using any text editor such as Notepad. Besides this, many tools are available that generate HTML tags automatically according to the document formatting. These tools include Microsoft Front Page and Dreamweaver, etc. XHTML or Extensible HTML is a markup language that enables websites to be displayed on mobile phones and other mobile devices. Scripting languages. A scripting language is a programming language that supports the writing of a script. Most of the scripting languages are interpreter-based, which makes the code execution efficient. Scripting languages are used to facilitate the development of web pages. The program development in scripting language is fast, and it also provides easy communication mechanism with the programs written in other languages. Some of the more significant features of the language are: scripting languages are easy to use and learn. They require minimum programming knowledge or experience. They handle complex programming tasks in relatively fewer steps. A variety of text editors are available to support script language programming. They allow to create dynamic and interactive activities on web pages. They also provide fast editing of web pages. A variety of scripting languages are available that includes the following: JavaScript, VBScript, PHP or Preprocessor Hypertext, PERL or Practical Extraction and Report Language. Characteristics of a good programming language. There are large numbers of high-level languages available in the software industry. These characteristics include the following: a programming language should be simple and user-friendly. The syntax of the language should be in resemblance with the natural language. The language should be capable of handling different programming approaches like procedural, structural, and object-oriented. Language should have compactness and extensibility features. The program execution should be efficient. The error discovery and removal should not be a cumbersome task. Selecting a programming language. The following factors are important for the language selection process. The language should be suitable for the application domain. For example, COBOL is suitable for business application. The language should be selected keeping in view the targeted platform where the application will be executed. If there are multiple languages available, then expertise of the staff should be considered, and only that language should be selected for which proper expertise is available. Time to produce is very dependent on the size of the code or language. The language should be selected to meet the project deadline. The availability of program development tools like compiler libraries should also be taken into consideration. The language should also have a strong community support behind it. The future enhancement should also be considered.